Trolls. That's right. I'm reviewing the Trolls movies in preparation for Trolls, whatever the fuck the third one's called. I don't really give a shit. Um, I reviewed Trolls World Tour back when it came out in 2020. Um, I'm gonna re-review that just because I don't really remember what I said in that review, and I feel like all my reviews from 2020 were kind of bad. So, Trolls. This is an interesting DreamWorks franchise. For me, this is not a movie that I would consider a good movie, but they're guilty pleasures to me, and there are things I enjoy about them, so I want to talk about it. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. I kind of think the second one's kind of good. We'll talk about that when we get to that. This movie is not great. But let's start with what I like about it, because I always like to start off with the good in these reviews. Animation is great in this movie. This is a gorgeous looking movie. It has a very scrapbook, glitter-filled art style that works for everything that they're doing in this movie. It's a gorgeous film to look at. It's very expressive, very lively. The voice cast, for the most part, actually does a pretty good job. Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick are fun and lively in this movie. You know, there's some voice actors I don't really like in this movie. I think that do terrible jobs, like James Corden, but, you know, they're fine. It's a fun, entertaining movie with all that art style. You know, just really living up the energy. Also, the soundtrack to this movie is really good. All these songs are pre-existing songs, except for "Can't Stop the Feeling," which was made for this movie, which is a great song. But this, it's really good when a kids movie like this can make covers of all these older songs and introduce kids to, a lot of these older classic songs like The Sound of Silence. I'm sure kids aren't listening to Simon and Garfunkel, right? But, this movie introduced that music to them. Yeah, that's really good. Now we'll get into the negative. This is a movie made for toddlers. It's, kind of irritating. It's very juvenile. Also, this movie has one of my least favorite movie tropes of all time, which is a character who the audience knows is right, but all the main characters treat him like he's in the wrong until the bad thing happens and the main character is proven right, because of fucking course he's right. And that's the Branch in this movie, which it's just like, of course everybody knew he was going to be right, but they constantly treat him like he's in the wrong, and then by the end of the movie he has to conform to what everybody wants him to be. It's just like, I don't know, I think the thing is, the animation and the music make this movie an enjoyable watch, that I think, if a parent had to sit there with a kid, they wouldn't hate themselves. But the way that Branch is written in this movie, at least this first one, does make it to a point where that's what ruins the movie for me. This is just a terrible trope, because again, the audience always knows these types of characters are right. They know the bad thing's gonna happen. So why even do this? And then also, like, main characters always treating him in the wrong, like, oh, you're wrong because you're, whatever. It's just like, no, he was kind of in the right to be self-cautious. But, hey, he's in the wrong because he doesn't conform to everybody. It really does. It's not only a bad trope, it's also something that will send a bad message to kids. That you should be cautious, and you should just be conformed to what everybody else wants you to be. And that's a terrible message for children. It just really is. But I still like this movie. It's a guilty pleasure. I throw this on from time to time. It's not really a movie I sit and watch a lot. It's like a background noise type movie where I'm like, all right, let me just throw some shit on while I'm doing that. Like, even while I was put it on for this video, review that I'm doing right now, I threw it on while I was getting ready for work. So I was like eating my breakfast, showering, whatever, doing whatever I need to do, and I was able to just kind of tune back in every couple of minutes, and not really have missed anything. It's you know it's an easy to watch movie, but most DreamWorks movies have a soft spot for it. You might have said most. I still have fucking not seen the Boss Baby movies, so, and I don't like Shark Tale, but yeah, Trolls. Let me know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe.